Yo, what's going on, guys? Ankith here. Welcome back to the channel. And in a huge surprise, but not really surprising in the form that Kabam messed up, we got Mystic Dispersion as the global tactic. Now, I'm really rusty with Mystic Dispersion. It has been a really long time since I've played against this global. It's not been really long time, but it's been like 2.5 weeks. And Alliance War is the only place where you actually go up against this global. So there isn't any way to practice or to recall how did you fight exactly. And you will see me missing quite a few of my intercepts, because usually I remove the Mystic Dispersion global by intercepting them. But yeah, I will be speeding up a lot of the fights, and just a quick FYI, the first 3 fights in this war are all rank 4, so Thing, CritMonkey, and I take negative as well. Pretty cool. I really like fighting rank 4 champions. I don't know why, but I definitely do. So as to how we are approaching this war, currently we are tier 1. So last war we were tier 2 when the season was supposed to start, but it didn't, and we won that war, which put us in tier 1. And the management or the leadership decided that we are supposed to win this war. We are not max boosting and everything, but we are taking this war seriously. And if people have boosts to spare, or they can heal up or something, they are encouraged to. They don't need to, but they're encouraged to. Quick little thing over here. You can see I'm taking some damage over time debuff, or damage over time damage right over there. And I was like, why is this happening? I don't have the delirium debuff on me, which is one of the ways how negative inflicts a damage or a passive damage on you. And I was really confused, and the damage actually kept going up. It isn't too much, but it was something that confused me for a bit over there. And then I looked at his signature ability and found out that he has that void-like ability where for each non-damaging debuff you take some damage, and that goes up to 145 with tick at 6-200. But it doesn't sound like too much, but if your Kingpin has 5 or 6 debuffs, that's 1,000 damage. So I was like, wow, that is pretty interesting. Like that doesn't make Kingpin a bad option for negative, but it just makes like a potion tax. So here we got Mysterio, and you can see I'm rusty with it. Previously, Powersnack minis were all taken by the previous officer who had Reed. I think Reed is definitely the best option for Powersnack minis, at least in Defiance. I don't know how that's going to translate in Conduit. But it's not a tough fight. I've taken this. I just need to make sure that I push him to SP2 so that the power drain is shrugged off. That just gives me extra damage. And then I, parry him and hit him. Of course, I do trigger Mystic Dispersion, and whenever I miss into his SP2, it also gives him protection. But, it's just a bit of a long fight. It's not really a tough fight. And that's kind of the theme with Kingpin. He's not the champion who's going to get you out of a fight in 60-70 seconds, but he's reliable. Even if you mess up, even if you take some hits, and I do take a lot of hits, you'll see a little bit later. Even if you mess up and take hits, he is chunky enough to survive it. So going back to what we are doing, we are boosting up a little bit this war. Even though the score doesn't count towards the season, what we want to do is we want to solidify ourselves in tier 1. And once we win this war, which we are winning, and it's pretty easy to win because the other guys are not pushing. They have like 50-60 deaths, I don't know. And we are done about 120 fights, and we're only around 24-25 deaths, which is quite a bit, but it's agreeable that, you know, we're not pushing as hard. We're just like kind of pushing, like one leg in, one leg outside kind of a thing. So yeah, so that means that once we win this war, we're not going to enlist in the next one. We'll be missing out on loyalty, of course, but you know, we don't really know if we are going to win the next one or not. So because it's not a season war. So what that would do is that would put us in tier 1, and we would need to lose 2 wars to drop down to tier 2. And I mean, it can't happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but the chances of that versus losing 1 war and dropping down to tier 2 is, you know, comparably is much lower. So this means that next war we won't really be enlisting, and we'll be completely skipping it. And that means that this war we are pushing. And as for my boosts, I was only boosted for the mini bosses, so for Powersnack, Mysterio, and that Kingpin, and I think this Nova as well, because I still had the boost active. So I'm just boosted for these 3 fights, and then I will be boosting up for Mangog and Maw fight. So technically I was supposed to only take Tigra, Peni Parker, and then Mangog and Maw, but you know, I woke up middle of the night to take a leak, and I saw that nobody has taken those fights, so I just decided to take them without boosts. Yeah, a lot of these fights, you know, just a bit long, but as I mentioned, Kingpin is the old reliable. He's not really gonna die. He reduces attack by a lot, so he's pretty chunky. And that's one of the reasons why I've sped up this video. Otherwise, it would have been like 22-23 minutes long. Even though this is looking like a 16-minute long video. So here we got Tigra, and Tigra isn't really hard. You will see me miss a few hits here and there. You know, the start was very well, and I totally forgot that against Tigra I always hit her block to push her in the corner and all that stuff. So here I think I forget. No, I don't forget. Okay, so that's good. I know I forget somewhere about the Mystic Dispersion Global. Let's see what that pops up. But yeah, as I mentioned, I totally forgot that I usually hit her block to push her in her corner. There I take a hit, you know, no big deal. And I'm fairly okay dexing her heavy attack in the corner, and as I say that, I take a heavy attack to the face. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, I think I dex another of her heavy attack in the corner, and I do that fairly okay. There I get clipped, and I didn't have my SB1 degen active, which means that, you know, I still took quite a bit of damage. If I did have it active, I would have probably taken a little bit less damage. And then at this point I realized that, yeah, I used to hit her block quite a lot to push her in the corner and make her bait her, or make her stay in her side of the map. I'm pretty comfortable dexing her SB2, but not against the wall, of course. So you can see me, you know, pretty easily. I take that down, and ooh, I got that intercept. Pretty cool. I did do some intercept, so that's good to know. Also, yeah, so I'm taking these fights. So Tigra, Peni, and Hulkbuster. These 3 fights I'm taking at the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. 3 a.m. I think. So my brain is like kind of sleepy, and not that I would have died or I would have lost, but it's just that I would make some mistakes that I knew of. But yeah, still not too big of a deal. And this Peni is just a little bit of a long fight, not really that long fight, but just a teeny bit. So I get the intercept there. Do I go for SP? Yeah, I go for SP1s. Normally I would just go for SP2s because she is gonna shrug off that degen. But yeah, I think that worked out fine. So do I get an intercept? Yeah, I do. Cool. That's pretty awesome. I do get an intercept. And then she obviously immediately triggers her shield. And just like that, I throw my SP1 into the block, which I really love. I think quite a few people forget that he has that ability and they don't really utilize it as well. Because I think that like doing a 5-hit combo into Peni's block and throwing your SP1 is pretty awesome to just get her shield down and, you know, keep the damage ticking. Obviously, unfortunately, she got that shield up right at the end of this, but you know, no big issues. Got her down right over there. All right, so next up we got this Hulkbuster. So missing in action mini is a pretty easy one for me. It's nothing really you need to worry about, because even if you get inflicted by the falter, you're just going to shrug it off. And Hulkbuster on top of it is fairly easy. The only reason people place Hulkbuster here is that some people may push him to SB2 by accident, thinking that, you know, only the first part is going to be unblockable, but actually the buffs last a little bit longer over here, which means that the first beam as well of his SB2 is going to be unblockable, which means that pretty much the whole of his SP2 is unblockable. Because, you know, unless you dex that first beam, I don't think you would be able to, because most people won't really realize it. So I take some hits over there. As mentioned, it's like 3 a.m. fight, so yeah. But even then, I'm doing like fairly well. I do get a lot of debuffs on me to keep my damage going, and Hulkbuster isn't really a tough fight. There's nothing really to worry about him. And I think he goes down right about here. So then we got Mangog, and I was using combat regen boost because I didn't want to heal up. It's not that we need to heal up, but I wanted to make sure that I get a solo on Mangog and the boss. So, and usually for Maw Boss, I try to keep a threshold of, so there I get hit, because, I don't know why. Oh yeah, I remember why, because my fingers were too sticky. I just woke up, brushed my teeth, washed my face, and my fingers were like moisturized a bit, so yeah, sticky finger issue. And there we got like 2 SP1 degens and charged a heavy attack. Let's see how much damage this does. So I'm at 37%. I think I go down to 30%. Yep. That's so funny. That is so funny. But I completely forget that he has that miss. And yeah, I screw up a little bit over there. But if I didn't screw up, I would have regened about 2% from adrenaline. And that SB2 or SB3 would have only done, how much is it? 5% damage, which is like ridiculous. That's like Iceman's SP or Iceman's ice armor thingy. So yeah, as I mentioned, I was gonna take the Maw Boss, and I wanted to have like at least 50% HP to start with, because Maw Boss isn't really hard for me, even with Mystic Dispersion, and that's a rank 4 Maw Boss. I've done a rank 4 before. The only thing is that you need like 30 to 40% at least HP as a buffer, because he is going to nullify at least one of your buff, you know, either when you're dexing or when he places a fury on you and then he throws another SP1, and you know, maybe by mistake you hit into his face, or you know, there's the Mystic Dispersion is on and you hit into him. So 40% HP as a buffer is what I was really thinking about, and I wanted 50% was a minimum that I was thinking about. And I started at 40%, and I thought, you know, I think I might be able to get this solo. And I could have, spoiler alert, I could have, but I had the sticky finger thingy again, and I ate one of his heavy attacks, which made me degen quite a lot of, I think it's over, no, I don't know, but I do eat one of his heavy attacks, and that made me, yeah, there you go. So that degen, like, that took out about, let's see, I was at 25%, so that took out like 15% HP. But even then, I was like doing okay. And and you will see that I'm only at like 4 or 5% HP, but I still managed to take him down to like 40% with that much HP. He throws that SP1 pretty freely. Thank you very much, sir. And I actually hit into his Mystic Dispersion. If you guys didn't see that, go back and check it. He had Mystic Dispersion on, and I hit him a couple of times and it connected, because you know Kingpin's SP1 degen bypasses miss as well, because you know that miss triggers on contact. And I've showcased that quite a lot. So yeah, like I mentioned, if I started off with 10-15% HP more, this would have been a solo. I've done this fight quite often. You know, I mean, obviously you're going to start off with 100% HP if you're actually taking the war that seriously. Sorry about that. But yeah, the rest of this goes pretty smooth. It wasn't anything that I was worried about at this point. Even if he degen me, it's just gonna do like 15-20% damage, and you know I knew I had that buffer available for me. So yeah, that's it, guys. I will see you guys next week when the official war season starts. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you know I hit that resist. And I'll catch you next time. See ya.